My name is Danielle Weiss. I am a licensed clinical social worker and the cognitive care team manager here at Synapticure. And so I oversee our amazing team of care navigators as part of the guide model. Today, I am going to be presenting on the topic of recreation, social, and leisure activities. This is a topic which is part of our caregiver skills training series, which we offer every third Wednesday of the month. And this is going to be a recorded session so that you have access to this material whenever you need it. Just wanted to share a little bit before we dive into our topic for today, a little bit about myself. Again, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I was a care consultant at the Alzheimer's Association, New York City chapter, where I also supervised social work interns for about 3 years. I oversaw the early stage support group program, and I helped to expand that program throughout the five boroughs of New York City. I was also involved in the early stage social engagement programming, which I really enjoyed. And it was really, during my time there that I learned that a diagnosis of dementia does not mean that you have to stop doing the things that you love. You're just doing those things differently. And so today I am here to talk about recreation, social, and leisure activities. Now, why are we even talking about this today? Why is it important for individuals with dementia to engage in recreation, social, and leisure activities? Well, we'll talk about a few reasons. So, the need for meaning and purpose really doesn't change when somebody develops dementia. Even as the disease progresses, our human desire for meaning and purpose never goes away. And engaging in social and recreational activities can help fill your days with joy and meaning. And when incorporated into the daily routine, can help structure your days and provide a routine. Can also help you improve your relationship with the person that you're caring for, with the care recipient. So much of, caregiver success depends on the quality of that relationship with the person that you're caring for. And so enjoying these activities together can really make all the difference. It can also help reduce isolation and loneliness. So engaging in social activities in particular can also be beneficial for those living with dementia by promoting a sense of belonging and community and connection, which is really important in all stages of the disease. There's also cognitive benefits to engaging in recreation, social, and leisure activities. It's shown to offer significant benefits like reductions in behavioral symptoms, anxiety, and depression, enhanced cognitive function, and improved quality of life. Now, some considerations before we dive deeper, okay? It's important to make sure that the activity that you're choosing matches the individual's cognitive and physical ability. So, for example, an individual who has trouble walking with ambulation might benefit more from chair yoga or exercises that can be done while sitting down. An individual who doesn't have, their verbal communication skills intact might do better with a simple art-based activity. And so really thinking about where the individual's at and then tailoring that activity to where they're at. Know your person. When choosing activities, think about the person you're caring for and what they used to be interested in. What were their hobbies throughout their life? Things that they like to do before they were diagnosed with dementia, and then tailor that activity. They might not be able to do it in the same way, but you can alter it or adjust it to where they're at now. And lastly, your approach matters. So sometimes, as caregivers, you may want the person, to be set up with you're caring for to be set up with an activity so that you can take a break, right? And we all need those breaks. And this may work at times, but we have to be very mindful about how the activity is set up and the intention behind the activity. So if the person you're caring for is feeling like they're being forced, right? Anytime we try to force somebody to do anything, that could backfire potentially, right? And you might be met with some resistance there. And so just something to be mindful of when you're approaching choosing an activity or a social task. And focus on the process, not the outcome. When organizing an activity, it's important that we adjust our expectations and make sure, we're not expecting a perfect result, right? So, for example, maybe you set the individual up to do a puzzle, and maybe, they start turning the puzzle pieces over, right? So that to the incorrect side. That's okay. The point is not for everything to be done the right way and perfectly. Also, keep in mind that telling the person that they're not doing it the right way, you might be that might just they might just shut down altogether and refuse to continue. And so, just being mindful of that as well. And lastly, give choices. So, this really empowers the individual. It makes them feel a little bit more in control of a situation that they're feeling very out of control in. And so, keeping it that your language simple. You want to go for a walk or listen to music, or walk or music, depending on where the individual's at. Bake a cake or sort the laundry. So just keeping your language simple and giving some choices. Now, I wanted to provide a case example of activity modification. So let's take somebody who really loves cooking or who loved cooking in the past. Now, maybe they can't safely use the oven or the stove or sharp knives, but they can go to the grocery store, choose the meal that they would like to make, set the table, tear lettuce leaves, or mix ingredients together in a bowl, pour out pre-measured ingredients into a bowl. You can even make a cookbook together with all, family favorite recipes from the past. Or have a fancy, dining experience at home where you dress up. Really, it's important sometimes to be creative, right? Putting on your creativity hat and thinking about how to execute activity ideas. So now I'm going to discuss some activity ideas that you can try with the individual you're caring for within the following categories. Okay, so we're going to talk about music, arts and crafts, exercise, socialization activities, and some other miscellaneous activities. Music. Okay, I love this quote. As abilities fade, music remains. And music can offer so many benefits, not just for the individual you're caring for, but also for you as the care partner, as a caregiver. Now let's talk about some cognitive benefits of music. Music can remain accessible even when other cognitive abilities fade because it's engaging multiple regions of the brain. And so this can help people respond to music that has special meaning to them. Even in advanced dementia stages, familiar music can help evoke these long-term memories and experiences. Listening to music can also help alleviate stress, reduce agitation, and improve mood. Studies do show that music therapy can help decrease symptoms of anxiety and depression. Soothing music can help regulate sleep cycles and reduce nighttime restlessness or white noise, using white noise in these instances of agitation or at nighttime. Social engagement, group music sessions or sing-alongs, perhaps in a chorus, can help enhance social engagements and connections. Also, music can be an enjoyable activity that you do together with the care recipient. So, I would encourage you to listen to your favorite music together. It also offers physical benefits. It can promote physical activity like dancing, clapping, simple movements like tapping your feet or clapping your hands. And slow, gentle music can help with relaxation and reducing stress, which has obvious benefits for both patients and caregivers alike. And I would love to hear how music, if you incorporate music into your daily routine. So when we get to the next section, I would love to hear some examples of how you're incorporating music as well. And here are some ideas on how to use music when caring for your person. You can create personalized playlists, so you can choose songs that are meaningful to your person's past experiences. So, if the person you're caring for was a fan of jazz or rock and roll, try some jazz or rock and roll music. You can encourage singing or humming. You can use instrumental music, as I mentioned before, for relaxation. And, music is so powerful. You can really set the mood with the music that you select. So maybe using soft, classical or nature sounds, which can help ease agitation. So if there's a time of day where your person is really agitated or sundowning, try playing relaxing music at that time, and see if it helps the care recipient relax. Can also incorporate music into your daily routine. So, playing music during meals or bedtime or bathing can help make these activities go a little bit more smoothly, and make for a more enjoyable task. I personally love folding laundry to Beyonce, but that's just my personal preference. Now, I wanted to just show an example of how music can help individuals living with dementia access long-term memories. I'm not sure if anyone has seen this documentary before, but it's called Alive Inside, and it's a story of music and memory. And so I just want to share a clip, just showing you how powerful music can be.
How old are you? How old am I? Yeah. I'm 90 years old. What was life like when you were a little girl? I've forgotten so much. I've forgotten so much. I'm very sorry. No, it's okay. What have you forgotten? I've forgotten what I used to do after I became a young lady. I've forgotten so much. I can't remember. I've been here, I've been here, I've been here 90 years. And if I could remember, I would tell you, but I don't, I can't remember. I want to try an experiment. What? I want you to try and let the music take you back into your memories, travel back into time, and then we'll stop and you can tell me where it took you. Come. You ready? Mhm. Yeah, yes, I want to be in that number. I win the same. Wow. He's singing when the things go by, marching by, and it takes me back to my school days. I would like to hit the number. Mama told us not to go listen to him. We would sneak off at night, bring back pictures from the dance. And I worked in Kings County 9 years. He building in Kings County. My birthday, November 20th, 19. I was in the wartime. I was working in Fort Jackson. And my son, on February the 4th, was 69. I didn't know I could talk so well. This is Dan Cohen.
Yeah, so I thought that was a great example. As you can see, listening to that one song helped her recall all of these long-term memories that she had stored. So I really love that video. Okay. Another activity, so switching gears here from music, is physical exercise. Now, before starting any physical activity, please do consult with your individual's doctor to make sure that it's not harmful for their health, right? We don't want anybody to get hurt. And again, just being mindful that the activity matches the individual's both their cognitive and their physical ability. So this is still an area of research, but some research has shown that physical activity is beneficial for not only reducing the risk of developing dementia, but can also offer benefits for individuals living with a diagnosis. And so some studies have shown that patients with dementia who engage in physical activity compared with those who do not had less anxiety, irritability, and depression, and better mental speed and attention. Now, here are some different physical activities to try, but again, making sure that you're consulting with your doctor first. Aerobic exercise. So that would include activities like walking, swimming, riding a bike, strength training. So that would include exercises that work, your major muscle groups that can help improve brain health. And balance and coordination exercises. So activities like Tai Chi or yoga. And again, for individuals with limited mobility, trying one idea can be, um, sorry about that. One idea can be chair yoga. And there are so many, videos on YouTube that you can watch on chair yoga to learn more. And physical activity, it doesn't need to be so complicated. It can just be going for a walk around the neighborhood or gardening, anything really to get them moving. Um, Art. So activities centered around art can also be a really great option for all levels, right? You definitely don't need to be an artist to try these. But art can be used as a form of self-expression, especially for individuals who can no longer express themselves verbally. So this can activate creativity, visual spatial, and hand-eye coordination. Completing a piece of artwork and showing off your masterpiece once completed can also help an individual feel a great sense of accomplishment and pride. And whenever you create something, to be able to share it is always creates positive feelings. And so I wanted to also share some examples of art projects that you can try at home. So first, you want to make sure that all the materials that you're using are safe and that you're avoiding toxic substances and sharp tools. And so, one example can be decorating a flower pot and then using that same flower pot for growing plants. You can use paints, stickers, other decorations, watercolors, setting up, a blank, simple blank canvas with just a variety of, colors to choose from. Um, there's also many options now. Adult coloring books are very popular, and so you can purchase one or you can just print out images on the computer for coloring if you have a printer at home or at your local library. And so that's another idea. Another idea to try is watching a virtual museum tour. So the MoMA in New York City and the National Museum of Natural History offer actually virtual tours. And so if you just Google virtual museum tours, you'll see a lot of options pop up, and you can view them from the comfort of your home. And here I wanted to share a video about the benefits of art for dementia patients.
It looks like an art class with brushes, paints, and scissors, though it's not. It's an art therapy session.
You don't have to be an artist. Anybody can do art therapy. Anybody can make art.
This is Joe Caniglione's finished product.
Well, I don't know if it's doing any good for anybody else, but it did well for me. I enjoyed doing it.
Art therapy is a nonverbal communication that is taking place during a session, different from an art class where you are giving instruction. It's sort of like if you were to go to a counselor, a traditional counseling type session. However, it incorporates art so that the therapeutic process comes within the art making itself. Would you like to try the red on her shirt?
This session is for residents of Wellspring Village at Brightview Warren, a senior living community. Participants in this group have memory issues.
Dementia is the umbrella term And there are many different types of dementia, including Alzheimer's. The reason why the two words Alzheimer's and dementia are synonymous is because by far, Alzheimer's is the most common type of dementia.
The Alzheimer's Association's Greater New Jersey chapter indicates nationwide there are 5 million people living with Alzheimer's disease. In New Jersey, there are 180,000 residents 65 years or older affected by the disease.
People who have dementia, Alzheimer's dementia, they have problems with communication, with cognition and memory. And so engaging in art therapy allows a different form, a different mechanism, avenue of communication. It allows them to express their feelings. It activates part of their brain that maybe they're not always activating, such as creativity, visual spatial, hand-eye coordination.
The art therapist incorporates different materials into her sessions, like papers of various textures and colors, beads, ribbons, and fabrics. She says this gives residents an opportunity to engage in different things and to connect with the material.
I try to pick things that are tactile for this population so that they can have a sensory issue with feeling it, or maybe it's scented. So some of the crayons have natural aromatherapies in them.
From there, art therapist Suzanne Dufour begins to have a conversation.
I kind of ask them, what it reminds them of, and maybe tell me a story about the flowers in front of you, or what do they remind you of? And, someone might say, oh, well, I used to cook a lot, or I used to bake a lot. And so then we'll talk about how, well, did you have parties? And then it leads from one to another. So it acts as a bridge.
When I see the residents involved, it just brings me such tremendous joy. They often come out of their shell, and I see a new side of them, and they become more engaged, more creative, and more verbal.
Geriatric psychiatrist Dr. Matthew Barnes says patients with dementia can also experience increased depression, anxiety, agitation, and mood swings.
Physicians are looking at medications as an avenue to help address those symptoms. So art therapy provides a non-medication intervention, which is really, outstanding, and we try to engage it as much as we can.
Dr. Barnes says the art therapy sessions also increase mindfulness and socialization. Angie Marjotis is enjoying this session with her friends.
It makes you laugh.
These works of art will be displayed throughout the community for all the residents to enjoy. In Warren, I'm Lauren Wonko, NJTV News.
Yeah, I really like how she talked about using different materials to activate, different senses, so your sensory abilities, and especially, that could be useful for individuals in the later stages, right? Activating their senses as an activity when not, verbal communication or physical activity is not an option. So, all right. So, I wanted to also share a few resources for various socialization opportunities. So the first I'll share about is memory cafes, and these are really amazing. They're social gatherings for individuals living with dementia and their care partners. Sometimes they're held at restaurants or libraries or museums. And it's really, a great way to meet people, local to you in your community, as well as those who are, in a similar situation. So you have that kind of immediate connection there. If you type dementia friendly America into Google, you can go to their website and you can just plug in your individual zip code to find local memory cafes. And if you're wanting some assistance there, you can definitely also reach out to your care navigator who can help you to find local memory cafes for you. If it's too difficult for you to get out, which sometimes that happens, there's also virtual programming for individuals living with dementia through the Dementia Action Alliance. And so they offer virtual programs on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time on a wide range of topics like music and art and movement. And again, your care navigator can provide these resources to you for the Dementia Action Alliance. There's also the Alzheimer's Association. So as I mentioned earlier, I used to facilitate these social engagement programs, and They are free and they're local. They're offered through your local Alzheimer's Association chapter. And so, what we typically recommend is reaching out to the Alzheimer's Association helpline. Again, this is for patients with mild dementia. And they can help with registration and connecting you to a local chapter to see what programs are out there. Okay. And here are some just miscellaneous activity ideas that don't necessarily fit in the previous categories that we just discussed. And so, again, activities do not need to be fancy or expensive, right? They can be super, super simple, like household chores, folding the laundry, sorting socks, um, setting the table, or using a vacuum, in the kitchen, sorting through pictures, maybe going through, taking a trip down memory lane and just recalling memories within those photos, right? Enjoying a simple cup of coffee or tea, going for a drive, planting flowers or indoor plants, and just, making a habit of watering them together. And so you really, again, it doesn't need to be complicated. Another, great resource is YouTube. There are so many videos on so many different topics of interest. You can, on everything you can think of, right? Everything under the sun. So, the San Diego Zoo has a live camera, so that's separate from a YouTube video, but there is that option as well if the person you're caring for is interested in animals. So maybe it's looking up videos of animals on YouTube, or accessing the San Diego Zoo live camera just to watch the gorillas walking around. Also calling friends using FaceTime or video chat. That's always, a good option, and something that's pretty simple, straightforward to do, or doing puzzles together. And so again, this is just kind of trying to provide you with some ideas that are simple but and easily accessible. Um, can't say this enough, but we are here to help. So I just listed our care navigators on this screen. If you are not sure who your care navigator is, you can always reach out to me at Danielle@synapticure.com. And we are here to help. So we can provide you resources, we can help you brainstorm on different ideas and activities. And so just make sure that you're reaching out in case you need any of those ideas. Now, just a quick note on upcoming topics and dates for our caregiver skills training series. Again, we're going to be presenting recordings the third Wednesday of the month at 2 p.m. And then once this recording is finished, we will open up for a Q&A session so that I can answer your questions live. So the next session will be on February 18th, 2026, obviously. So emergency services and home safety. Also after that, and March 18th, planning for the future. And then in April, assistance with ADLs, meaning activities of daily living, and instrumental activities of daily living. Thank you so much for tuning in, and looking forward to seeing you in a bit for our Q&A session.